had undertaken in the former Belgian Congo in the middle to late 1950s. And I did focus on that campaign because of certain geographic similarities to where scientists were saying AIDS had begun in the human population, which was in this same region.
And this particular region of Africa is the epicenter of the AIDS epidemic. Curtis's hypothesis jolted the scientific community because it implicated one of its own, Hilary Kaprowski, a renowned researcher and pioneer in the fight against polio.
There was a tremendous feeling in the scientific community that they were somehow endangered. If you had journalists writing articles in the Rolling Stone, my God, what about our dignity? So there was a lot of concern from that viewpoint. There was a lot of concern that it was written by a person who was a professional journalist, and that they were afraid that people would no longer immunize their children against polio.
How could a simian virus possibly contaminate a vaccine? Curtis's argument was extremely serious because it put in question the manufacturing of polio vaccine, one of modern medicine's greatest triumphs. To understand what could have happened, we have to return to the polio years. In 1958, America was beginning to recover from a scourge that had haunted it for more than 50 years, polio. The disease, still incurable at the time, paralyzed and killed, mostly children. "90 million Americans were vaccinated in one of the largest mass vaccination campaigns ever. Polio vaccine, one of modern medicine's greatest successes, made its inventor, Jonas Salk, a hero.
All 164 million Americans, to say nothing of all the other people in the world that'll profit from your discovery. I am very, very happy to hand that to you.
But polio vaccine had one distinctive feature. It was the first to be derived from monkey organs. Mass commercialization began and gave rise to the development of an enormous market for monkeys, used both as test animals and as raw material from which to create the polio vaccine. Entire shipments of macaque arrived in America from India and the Philippines.
To make primary cultures of monkey kidneys, you needed monkey kidneys, you needed flasks or bottles, you needed culture medium, and this was usually supplemented with fetal calf serum or with horse serum, which was used extensively, and you were in business. One obtains a piece of tissue, and then one divides it. And the way you divide it is you, first of all, in the crudest sense, you take a pair of scissors and you snip, 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 snip until you have a suspension of cells that is relatively crude. That is, there are lumps and bumps in there. Put them into the flasks, let them settle down and make a monolayer of cells, add poliovirus, and then you would collect the liquid from the cultures, filter out the cells, remove the cell remains, and then you would have a virus suspension. And then you could kill it with formaldehyde, put it into bottles, and call it polio vaccine. That was it. So trying to get entirely pure cultures as primary cultures is very difficult. You can have a culture of monkey kidney cells that looks to be very pure, but if you look at those on the surface, or if you stain them, or you look with a special microscope, you can see that there are other cell types present in there.
And other viruses could have infected these other cells. Driven to eradicate one disease, we risked creating another. Scientists and governmental organizations knew this. The powerful Food and Drug Administration was aware of the risks, but kept the information hidden.
It was the researcher, Bernice Eddy, at the Food and Drug Administration who first had indications that these viruses existed, and her findings were essentially suppressed. There was a lot of inner discussion within FDA of her taking examples of mouse tumors to her supervisors, and they're seemingly being biased against the possibility that this could be a nasty virus. She did, however, present her work at a New York meeting, to which again she was criticized for doing that. Subsequently, Dr. Sweet and Dr. Hilleman found the same virus, having heard about it, and named it SV40.
During this same period, the terminology for these monkey viruses was established and published in the medical literature. SV40 was only the 40th virus in a very long list.
We should have stopped using monkey kidney tissues, I think, for virus production in 1960. And we've continued to do so. The drug companies are the ones who really determine this. They have developed facilities, they develop processes that would cost them a lot of money if they had to do it a different way.